As you approach the next corner, he's at the next corner. Okay, there's definitely a pattern. You want to keep going? I paused for a moment. I thought about it. I said, I'm going to tell the dragon to keep chasing him. Okay. I, however, am going to hop off the dragon. Ah, what are you going to do? Turn around. He was like, what? It's like, yeah, I'm going to turn around. This guy's doing laps. He knows I'm following him. He's screwing with me. Okay? He's messing around. He's sitting there going, ha ha, you can't catch me. Well, guess what? You're outrunning the dragon. You didn't factor me into that equation, did you? Let's find out. So I turned around and I stood there, and sure enough, the guy comes running up to me full speed, and he stops. And he goes, wait, weren't you? And he turns around and he looks back at me. And he turns around and he looks back at me. And he turns around and there's my dragon. And he goes, oh, well, aren't you clever? You figured out my ruse. I was like, yeah, I figured out your ruse. You were doing laps. It's like, well, I suppose you want a reward then. It's like, wouldn't hurt. And so he handed me this scroll, and he was like, this should prove useful for someone of your magical inclination. Anyways, I do actually need to be going. I have plenty of things to do. I'm late for a very important date. And it's like, what are you, a white rabbit? Steve was like, I'm glad you got that reference. I'm like, how could I not? You know? It's Alice in Wonderland, by the way. If you're not familiar with the origin of I'm late for a very important date, it's Alice in Wonderland. Specifically, the White Rabbit checking his pocket watch saying, oh my god, I'm late. That Red Queen person's gonna frickin' behead me. Oh my lord. You know, I'm late. I got a very important date here. Trying not to get beheaded. It's like, yeah, aren't we all? It's like, no, you don't understand. I'm supposed to be there to play cricket with the Queen of Red Hearts. In case you were unaware, there are multiple Queens of Hearts in the Alice in Wonderland saga. B, there are rulers over each domain of Alice in Wonderland. One person was, I think it was the King of Diamonds, had a undead city. All of his supplicants, all of his servants were undead, and he couldn't bear to see them go. He couldn't bear to let go of them. He knew they were dead. He just couldn't bear the thought of saying goodbye. And it's like, well, they're kind of undead, so if you don't let them rest in peace, they're gonna just kind of go zombie on you. And that's what happened. They went zombie on him, and he died. Horrible, lonely death. Wasn't painful. just lonely. Well, I mean, other than the starving. The starving might have been a little painful. That's the wrong spot. There we go. No. Stay aimed at the block you were pointed at. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of torches to to reclaim here. Let's see. The next thing that I know, dude vanished, and it's like, well, you know, did he give any instructions besides that? It's like, nope. He just told you good luck and just poofed. He did a little dance and he just kind of vanished. You know, he vanished with a leap, and it's like, oh, okay. No idea what that means. I guess I'll check out the scroll, see what it's capable of. Appears to be something called a time warp. For those of you who know where this is going, the vocal components, the verbal components, was that. The somatic components, which is the components of movement, you know, the body movements, it was that. For those who don't know what it means to say, let's do the time warp again. Fortunately, Dragonus was skilled enough to be able to understand the rudimentary concepts of the spell, and Dragonus was able to jump into either the future or the past by 1 hour. Unfortunately for Dragonus, Dragonus did not think perhaps the guy jumped into the future or the past by 1 hour. So Dragonus did not go chasing after the guy because the idea just never really occurred to Dragonus that maybe they could find the guy again a lot easier if they just did the time warp. That being said, I think Dragonus was a bit preoccupied at the time, so it's kind of understandable that she wouldn't think about that. She was preoccupied. She was learning. She just met some weird dude who gave her some strange scroll about doing the time warp again. It's like, well, you know, what are you going to do about it, right? What can you do about it? Sometimes you just gotta take a step to the left, you know, do a hop to the right. Yeah, good times, good times. I had never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, by the way. I actually, to this day, still have not seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I've seen that music video. Boy, is that a strange song. That's putting it mildly. That is a weird song, man. Like a really, really weird song. Hi. I just look up and I see that guy staring at me. It's like, hi. Okay. Let's see. A lot of this is getting very nicely cleared out. I'm very glad that I have enough resources to be able to install the ones in the floor before I clear out the ones in the ceiling. That being said, I will want to actually have the ones in the ceiling cleared out before I finish the ones in the floor, because otherwise I'll just forget. And then I'll look up and I'll be like, oh, right. Sky lanterns. Whoops. It's like, yep. Now I gotta build scaffolding to go collect it all. And it's like, well, great. Now what am I gonna do? Well, as I mentioned, build scaffolding. It's like, well, I don't have bamboo. Use something besides bamboo. Use dirt. You got dirt. It's like, I don't want to use dirt. It's dirty. Sir, are you making puns again? We went over this. It's like, I know. I couldn't help myself. I know they're terrible, but you can't really blame me. After all, they're written on paper. Sir, we've been over this. Yeah, the mysterious old dude did make an appearance later, because oh no, that was when we actually got the Mjolnir armor. The guy ended up selling it to us, and he was like, well, you know, I could sell it to you, or I could go find someone else who's interested in buying it for a lot more. And they were like, no, I'll buy it at whatever price you're asking. And it's like, oh, okay. And so they bought it for a decently fair price. They talked him down just a little. They were like, well, this is for my personal collection. I'm not gonna, be reselling this. This is personal. It's like, oh, well, that's good. In that case, I will sell it to you. It's like, okay, good. And so they, the werewolf guy bought it because he was the one running the store that the guy wandered into to sell it. And then Dragonus was like, oh, hey, that's awesome. That's really cool looking armor. Looks very old, very ancient, very decrepit. I like it. I got some ideas for that. It's like, really? You have crafting ideas for armor? It's like, yeah. I'm wearing dragon scale armor, remember? They were like, oh yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm actually planning on utilizing a lot of this material that we're reclaiming here from all of these bad guys, because my character has an issue. The issue is they're glass cannon. Meaning they have very, very intense quantities of damage, and very, very little amount of hit points to soak up damage with. So they're very lethal to everything else. However, everything else is also extremely lethal to them. And it's like, yeah, I suppose that would be a good reason to be interested in armor. It's like, yeah. Well, I understand I got, dragon scale armor, but at the same time, does that really do me much good if we're fighting some of these more advanced foes? I mean, it's like Qui-Gon Jinn said, there's always a bigger fish. Because of that, Dragonis began her quest of being extremely obsessive about survival. She wanted to not die. She was like, oh my god, I've had so many near-death experiences already. This is insane. I need armor for my armor for my armor. I need armor that can't be removed from me because otherwise I might get robbed of my armor because it looks so nice. It's like, oh my god, that armor is amazing. Give me all your money. It's like, what? I'm robbing you. Oh. No. It's like, why? I'm robbing you. You don't get a say. It's like, yes, I do. It's my armor. It's like, well, I'm stealing it. Well, yeah, but have you ever considered that perhaps I might refuse? And it's like, I don't think you have much choice. I don't think you have much choice because this armor is a one piece. They're like, okay, even better. You can just hand it to me all at once. And it's like, no, you don't understand. The whole piece of armor is one piece. And they were like, wait a minute. You mean like all of it? Yeah, all of it. The whole thing. I was wearing a solid single piece of armor by that point. Or no, not by that point. By that point, I still had the crystal dragon scale. However, that did come up later. That happened later. Let's see. At that point in time, I think Dragonis just had a general concept of being like, okay, well, I got this transmute spell. I can do equivalent exchange. That thing looks like it has a lot of mass. And it's like, yeah, that would do it. That would get my attention. That armor looks real heavy, real hefty, real sturdy. I like it. I want to buy it. It's like, why? You can't use it. Equivalent exchange. It's like, what do you mean? I mean, I'm going to transmute it. They were like, what? You can't transmute this armor. I was like, why not? They were like, can he do that? It's like, yeah, he actually can. Well, she. Dragonis is a she. But they were like, yeah, actually, she can. She is capable of transmuting the armor. Why do you ask? It's like, wait, seriously? She can just do that? It's like, yeah, that's the spell. It's like, wow, that is OP. It's like, yep. But first she's got to get that armor from you. Yeah, that's not happening. I'll tell you what, I'll offer you all of my money. And then we did all the math on how much money I had, and we were like, holy shit, I'm rich. And that specific player had just finished buying the shop. So he had almost no money. So that was a really, really good offer. Like, he should have taken that offer. He was like, oh my God, yes. And so he was like, cool. You know, that sounds awesome. However, it's for the Mjolnir armor, which, no, I'm not selling the Mjolnir armor. And it's like, but I want it. You know, I'm literally offering you all of my money, dude. You cannot get a better offer than this. I can guarantee you that. Okay, unless the dude who owns the entire black market city shows up to, you know, browse your shop and he goes, hey, I want that armor. You're not going to get a better offer. And he looked over at Steve, and Steve was like, they're right. You're not going to get a better offer. If you're going to sell it, that would be the price to sell it for. You're not going to get a better offer because they didn't use a number. They used a percentage, and that percentage was triple digits. You're not getting a better offer than that. Dragonis is rich. Okay. Remember, Dragonis was the same one who kept the entire Dragon's Horde when they raided the Shadow Dragon. I guess it would be Nest. Dragonis kept the entire reward for herself because she wanted a trophy. She didn't want to have a bunch of, you know, brutes just blundering about with a bunch of magic items, and they could potentially kill themselves or her or both in the process. It's like, no, I'm not gonna let a bunch of Neanderthals carry a bunch of magic items around. Sorry. It's like, that's fair. You're sitting there, you're looking us over, you're like, wow, all these guys are real strong. They have amazing physical strength. You know, a few of them are even cunning because, you know, they were using crossbows. She didn't think very highly of the sword. Yes, she was an elf. However, she was a ranged elf. She was not melee. She had a knife specifically for the purpose of utility knife. That's what she was using her dagger for. She was like, yeah, I want a dagger because I want to be able to, like, harvest plants and stuff without worrying about, you know, what if my knife breaks or something. So I want something really high quality, you know, combat grade. And Steve was just like, that is so hilarious. You picked your starting weapon to be a knife, not for damage, not because it's thrown, not because it's a weapon. You picked it entirely for utility. And it's like, well, yeah, I've got the herb stuff background, you know? Like, I can go pick herbs. So I don't want to, you know, go picking herbs and just be like, well, you need a knife. And it's like, well, do I have a knife? Why, yes, I do. I have a dagger. Would you like to borrow it? It's like, oh, well, I suppose that makes sense. It's like, yeah, exactly. And that being said, out of D&D, I actually do enjoy knives quite thoroughly. I find them to be very easy to use, very great, simple, basic weapon. A lot of people wonder, well, what if you get disarmed of it? And it's like, well then, I guess I don't need to worry about them. It's like, why not? Because now I get to use my hands. which is even more diddly. You know? They're sitting there going, aha, I've got a knife. And I'm like, aha, I've got your wrists. They're like, what's that going to do? Nothing until I break their wrists. They're like, oh, yeah, I can see where that would go wrong for them. It's like, yeah, goes wrong pretty quickly. Like the Men's Warehouse. What? What happened? What time is it? Ah, it is midnight. It just rolled over to the next day. That is lovely. It's like, yeah, like the Men's Warehouse. I guarantee it. You know, fists are a deadly weapon. Don't believe me? Ask the monk. It's like, but aren't you a mage? Yeah. Well, why would your fists be a deadly weapon? Because if I grab your wrists, okay, fine. You know, some dainty little mage lady grabbed your wrists. Do you feel threatened? Not really. I'd probably laugh at you. That's a wise move. That's actually a decently accurate response. However, here's the thing. I'm a dark mage, which means on top of having these lovely dainty wrists, I'm able to do things such as conjure electricity, conjure fire, conjure stone, conjure ice. It's like, oh, yeah. So suddenly it goes from some dainty little chick holding your wrists to you have handcuffs made out of ice on as your fingers are slowly recovering from the numbing sensation that was caused by having your hands electrocuted. It's like, yeah, that could definitely cause me some problems. See, don't underestimate your opponent, because you are crafty, but you know what? So am I. Yes, you're crafty. I'm crafty too. We're both very crafty individuals. Okay? I just needed help getting the character sheet in order, and once I had that, it was like, cool, you know? Now that I've got the base material, the proto material, as it were, now that I have the basics done, the character sheet, I can actually play the game. And then it's like, well, that's amazing, you know? How did you think to come up with that? And it's like, well, are you familiar with this, or this? It's like, I'm surprised you had multiple examples. It's like, I mean, if that's what's surprising you, wait until you find out what happens next. It's like, why? What happens next? Well, let's see how this goes first. What I didn't tell him is I hadn't planned that far, but he didn't know that. He also never found out because what I was trying actually failed horribly. Or the other time that I tried it, it succeeded horribly, by which I mean I kind of overdid it. And then the bad guy was just hurting badly. And it's like, well, whoops. It's like, Draconis, we need the guy alive. It's like, well, we can find a cleric to talk to the dead or something? Do a seance or something. Like, geez. It ain't my fault the guy was wimpier than me. And then they all just paused as the words flowed out of my mouth like water. Wimpier than me. It's like, that is a low, low insult. Like, oh my god, that is hilarious. It's like what he was. I counted his hit points and everything. Dude was wimpier than me, man. It's like, really? Yeah. Here's how much damage we did. Here's how much damage I can take. And they were like, holy shit, the guy really is wimpier than you. It's like, I told you. You didn't believe me, but no, he really was wimpier than me. You know? I love how I've been down here this whole time, just beating this drowned up with rotten flesh. To the point where I've actually knocked him out of the water repeatedly. I beat a drowned to death using the flesh of his buddy. That's kind of funny. Isn't it? Okay, now that we are back at the top of this staircase, I will go ahead, eat this rotten flesh. Well aware of the fact that it's probably going to keep giving me that hunger status effect. 30 seconds of hunger. It's fine by me. I mean, as long as the hunger meter is full, I'm pretty much unaffected by the hunger effect. Darn it. Dang it, Bobby. Sorry. There it is. Hi, bad guy. You look ugly. Probably not the nicest thing I could have said to a drowned, but to be fair, he does kind of look like he died a long time ago. Maybe even drowned, for all we know. Buddy. Is there another one to my right? Am I being flanked? Is that what's going on here? Nope. Okay. Does that guy have a trident? Does not look like it. Hey you, turn around. Nope, no trident. Okay. In that case, he's not really worth it. Where is... There's a way up somewhere around here. Where is the way up? There it is. And then I wander over here. And I start leaping up these stairs. These very crudely carved stairs. I probably want to actually install legitimate stairs at some point, because I'm going to be using that staircase so often, so frequently. going to be like absolute insanity how frequently I'm going to be using those stairs. Oh, right. I suppose I don't need this. Hi, chicken. Bye, chicken. So yeah, you know, the player was like, no, I don't want to sell the armor. It's a great offer, it really is. But, you know, it's not for sale. It's personal collection. You know, I even told the guy I wasn't going to sell it. He told me, okay. And I was like, cool. So, sorry, you know, great offer, not for sale. It's like, okay, that's fine. I can respect that. He was like, really? I was like, hell no. I'm going to go back into the alley outside the shop, and I'm going to do the time warp. He was like, okay, which direction? I'm going to jump back in time 1 hour, because I haven't been in there for longer than an hour. And then I'm going to actually intercept the guy as he's approaching their shop. And the guy was like, the player was like, really? I was like, bro, I legitimately offered you all of my money and you said no. I gave you a chance. He was like, oh my god, this is such bullshit. And I was like, perhaps, but you had an honest chance to make a massive profit on this. You could have made 3 times your investment. Okay, now I get it for half price. He was like, oh my god, this is such bullshit. It's like, time shenanigans, man. What are you gonna do? I mean, your character doesn't even know I'm doing this. Your character isn't going to have any memory of this. It's like, oh my god. Really? Steve was like, yeah, that's how this works, actually. He was like, don't I at least get a saving throw or something for it? He was like, that's actually a good point. That is in the spell. You do get a saving throw for it, but it's tied to the spell save DC. And the guy was like, oh, great. Because he knew already how this was going to go down, because he knew the player who helped me design my character sheet had just gone ahead and done his usual min-maxing on my character. You know, the guy normally does min-maxing on his own character sheet, and it's like, oh, great. So the min-maxer character stat is what I'm going up against, basically. You know? How fun, he says sarcastically. Very, very dry sarcasm. Extremely dry sarcasm. Any more dry and it would have been a desert. I did not intend to walk off that cliff. Can I make this jump? Maybe. Ooh, nope. Okay. Hi, chicken. I remember you. I missed. Ow. That really hurt. A lot. Where is the stairs? Not here. Ah, over there. You, what are you holding? You're holding an item. Just another one of these shells. I still have no idea what a Nautilus shell actually does in this game. Like, I've collected them, yes, but I have no idea what they do. I need to sleep because there's an Enderman over there and I want it to last a really long time when it starts raining inevitably. Also, there are a lot of enemies spawning in. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so, I went out in the alley and, I did the time warp, complete with the dance and the lyrics. However, because I personally didn't know the dance nor the lyrics, we just kind of glazed over that part. It was a wonderful attempt, Steve. I'll give you that. However, I still am not able to actually sing that song. I did start referencing it properly because my friend at the time, Chuck, who is dead, he died of a heart attack long time ago, many years. I know, your condolences, blah, blah, blah. Death doesn't really bother me. It's not something I really pay too much attention to. I'm just kind of numb to the whole people dying thing because I practice shamanism, meaning I can actually legitimately just talk to ghosts. And when I say talk to ghosts, I mean like, hey dude, how's it hanging? A lot of people are surprised by that. They're like, oh my god, aren't you worried that they're gonna hurt you? It's like, why? I'm the scary one here. They're like, why? And I say, well, for starters, my energy levels are kind of off the charts. And they were like, really? I was like, yeah. Like, a lot of energy. I don't look it, but I have ADHD, okay? Which means, while I don't look like I have a lot of energy, I am always moving. Always. Somewhere in my body language, you will find that I am moving constantly. Okay? Right now, I'm just kind of bouncing my right leg, wiggling my left foot. It's very basic, but it works. And I just got this rhythm. Just boop, 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 boop. That's my rhythm. It's a very basic rhythm. It's a tempo. It's a music tempo. I think that's a... What would that be? A 8/4 tempo? I think it's an 8/4 or a 4/4. I don't remember which. An 8/4 tempo or a 4/4 tempo. I don't remember which. I'm not really interested in what the actual tempo is, because the tempo varies depending on things such as musical interests, meaning, what song is playing. If it's R&B, for example, I tend to go more for a 3/6 offset. Sometimes I'll do a 4/8. Sometimes I'll do an 8/4. Sometimes I'll do a 2/4. There's all kinds of different tempos that I, just follow the rhythm of. I have a lot of innate skills, a lot of abilities which people look at me and go, "You're weird." I don't care. I don't care that it makes me weird. You know? Yeah, I'm weird. And? What of it, man? You know? So what if I'm weird? You're weird. You ever think of that? Maybe I'm not the weirdo. Maybe you're the weirdo. Yeah. Never thought of that, did you? That being said, the various tasks which were given out ended up being quite how do I say this? Deadly? Lethal? Dangerous? Yeah. I started shifting back to talking about D&D. I forgot to do the transition, but we're talking about D&D again. But yeah, the various tasks that were offered for Dragonis to have some form of, safe passage was very off-putting. So what Dragonis did was Dragonis found a triple shot ballista in town while she was preparing to travel across the sea. Dragonis decided that a triple shot ballista was a very good investment, despite the fact that her boat, which she employed, was a fishing ship. Not even a big scale fishing ship. We're talking like, farmer's market type fishing ship. They're not sitting there selling to big companies for lots and lots of money. They're selling to like, Auntie M and Little Joe, if you know who those characters are, you are really old, because those people have been dead for a really long time. A really, really long time. Those people are really old. That was from the show Bonanza, by the way. Ma? Pa? Little Joe? Bonanza reunion tour. Da, da, da. Ma? Little Joe? There's one character still alive. After all these years, there's one actor still alive from that show. It's kind of sad, because Bonanza was an alright show, but at the same time, I didn't like it. A lot of people did like it. I get that. I didn't. It wasn't my thing. It wasn't my cup of tea, Yeah. Okay, now we're making some progress. Now that I'm not repeatedly falling off the cliff in the same location. Fortunately, now that I've, clear-cut this mountain so thoroughly, falling off the cliff is actually nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Seeing as, for the most part, it's just a minor setback. I lost a little bit of health. I didn't get very, very heavily set back by that. It was not a very difficult setback to try and overcome the fall damage, because I think I only fell, 4 or 5 blocks? You can rewind and check how many stairs I counted. I don't really care. So yeah, Dragonus leapt back in time. Actually, before I continue on, this would be a good point to mention that it does help me a lot, and it helps the channel a lot if you like the video, as well as subscribe. If you downloaded the video, it helps to actually go back and make sure that you mark out on YouTube that you watched the whole video. Make sure YouTube knows that. You know, look at the preview image and see how far along that little red bar is actually marked out, because that's how it keeps track. I don't know if that's how it keeps track of the whole thing, but yeah, that's how it keeps track. It tells me in the YouTube analytics that, you know, I get anywhere between 0 to 4 viewers on average. Also, only 2% of my viewers are subscribed. You guys should really consider subscribing. You know, a lot of you people, you come down here, you check out my videos, and then you just wander off and never subscribe. And it's like, well, if you don't subscribe, how can you find more of my videos? Don't you want to enjoy my Minecraft Let's Play series? Don't you want to sit there and wonder what I'm going to build next when I finally get around to it? Which should be soon, now that I'm actually starting to excavate into my own base. Because that's what this is. This is my base. This literally is my base. It's trying to walk in a door there, but yeah, this is my base. Matter of fact, the part where I had to deal with the Johnny, it was right there, actually. You know, that's how low I am on this cliffside. That thing's only 12 blocks tall. That's another way to compare. You know, well, 13 if you count the floor that it's all sitting on, but that's actually sunk into the ground, so I don't think you really need to count that. Yeah, you can see just how many different lanterns are getting readjusted and how many of them weren't lined up, because for each lantern that was not properly lined up, it's going to quite clearly be outside of the pattern when I stand here. So you can see right there, there's a few right there that are not in line with the pattern. That being said, I want to go here. Yeah, I'll put it in there. And I want... I can reach that, actually. Okay. Now... about over here. Can I get up this way? I think I can, actually, because I have access to that water over there. So at the very least, you know, I got that going for me. Okay. Yeah, just flattening the place out, just getting rid of the torches, does wonders for the land value here. You know, some people would be like, oh, gentrification is bad. It's like, well, here's the thing to note about gentrification. You know what gentrification actually does? Here's what gentrification does. Gentrification is they move in and then they upgrade